today's systems, although they're impressive, as we discussed earlier, they're also very flawed. And I don't think today's systems are posing any sort of existential risk. But so it's still theoretical. But the problem is there are a lot of unknowns. We don't know how fast those will come, and we don't know how risky they will be. But in my view, when there are so many unknowns, then I'm optimistic we'll overcome them. At least technically, I think the geopolitical questions could actually end up being trickier, given enough time and enough care and thoughtfulness, sort of using the scientific method as we approach this AGI point.
That makes perfect sense. But on the other hand, if that time frame is there, we just don't have much time.
No, we don't. We don't have much time. I mean, we're increasingly putting resources into security and things like cyber, and also research into controllability and understanding of these systems, sometimes called mechanistic interpretability. There's a lot of different sub-branches of AI
that I want to get to interpretability.
that are being invested in, and I think even more needs to happen. And then at the same time, we need to also have societal debates more about institutional building. How do we want governance to work? How are we going to get international agreement, at least on some basic principles around how these systems are used and deployed and also built?
What about the effect on work, on the marketplace?
My view is, if you talk to economists, they feel like there's not much has changed yet. People are finding these tools useful, certainly in certain domains like things like AlphaFold. Many scientists are using it to accelerate their work. So it seems to be additive at the moment. We'll see what happens over the next 5-10 years. I think there's going to be a lot of change with the jobs world. But I think, as in the past, what generally tends to happen is new jobs are created that are actually better, that utilize these tools or new technologies. What happened with the internet, what happened with mobile. We'll see if it's different this time. Obviously, everyone always thinks this new one will be different, and maybe it will be. But I think for the next few years, it's most likely to be, we'll have these incredible tools that supercharge our productivity, make us, really useful for creative tools, and actually almost make us a little bit superhuman in some ways in what we're able to produce individually. So I think there's going to be a kind of golden era of the next period of what we're able to do. That's the next question about what AGI brings. But even if you have those capabilities, there's a lot of things I think we won't want to do, with a machine. I sometimes give this example of doctors and nurses. Maybe a doctor and what the doctor does and the diagnosis. One could imagine that being helped by a AI tool or even having an AI kind of doctor. On the other hand, like nursing, I don't think you'd want a robot to do that. I think there's something about the human empathy aspect of that and the care and so on that's particularly humanistic. I think there's lots of examples like that but it's going to be, a different world for sure.